Please, رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ربنا زدنا علما سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. How is everyone, my offline and inside students? Hope everyone is doing well. Inshallah, we have a very packed session today. In the last class, we discussed anger in neutral and understand how is anger, how does it happen, and the understanding between open anger and then passive aggressive. And today, inshallah, we will be doing the treatments के अगर ऐसा होता है तो उसमें हम क्या कर सकते हैं. I just want to start with a few ahadith because when we want to learn from the best. And Huzur sallallahu alaihi wasallam ki jo sunnah thi, he was rahmatul lil alameen. He was sent as an example for mankind. So when you want to copy someone or when you love someone, you want to look at the best, and he was the best. So, inshallah, we will be going through some of his ahadith, and I would encourage all my students online on site. Okay, since we are doing this course, and this is jihad for us. Last time, remember, I discussed ek to jihad hota hai. This is jihad with the men, right? If you want कि समंदर की मछलियां आपके लिए दुआ करें और फरिश्ते आपके लिए अपने पर फैलाएं when you come, and if you want all the angels to surround you and to protect you, then you need to inshallah move out of the listener phase as you can and go into the student phase. Because did you know that when we are students of the Quran, and if we die with Allah's izn, then we are shaheed because we were the students of Quran. So we want to all our lives be called students of the Quran, right? And Hadith. So because it is not possible for me to put so much information on the slides, as it is, my slides are too full with information, but I do this so that you can, have more and more of the bullet points. But it is important for the examples that we discuss of the Sahaba today. Do take down notes because for your review, your graded review, the scarier name, which is called test, but I will call it your graded review sheets. It is important that you take down notes because this will help you become, inshallah, future mentors and in charge, and you can help others and you can take this seat. Why not, inshallah? So, and let me just, today is a story session. It's just stories and stories and stories. Just a small motivation. Never underestimate yourself. कि मैं ये नहीं कर सकती. Do you know the first time I sat in front of the Quran and I sat for tajweed, and the teacher said that, you need a lot of help. You are really in a very bad situation. And then uske baad, for 7 years, I worked, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed me that I was the first to sit in my teacher's chair. I became a hafiz, and I did all this after 40. So, and the Sahaba, when they reverted to Islam, they were all above 40. So there is really no age that मैं नहीं कर सकती, I've never done this, how can I do this? So just tell yourself you can do this and you will, inshallah, right? And the review sheets are not going to be anything out of what we do in class, right? So with that, one of these hadiths, it will be actually, inshallah, very beneficial for you if you memorize any one of these for your own good. क्योंकि जब भी आपको गुस्सा आएगा और आपको इनमें से कोई भी हदीस याद आएगी, then you will be able to, at least, I told you the 5 minutes, the universe between stimulus and response. And alhamdulillah, during this weekend, a miracle happened for me that I will share with all of you. So do not be angry and paradise will be yours. ये तो बहुत ही इजी और बहुत ही ब्यूटीफुल हदीस है कि बस हुजूर सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने किसी से पूछा सहाबा ने कि मुझे कोई बहुत अच्छी बात बताएं, something very insightful, and he said, do not be angry. And he thought maybe he'll just add something to that. He asked 3 times and he said, don't be angry. So this is one of the very, very good advices from the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Whoever controls his anger at a time when he has means to act upon it, Allah will fill his heart with contentment on the day of resurrection. जिस दिन नफ्सा नफ्सी होगी, वो लोग कौन होंगे? वला खौफुन अलैहिम वला हुम यहज़नून. That they will have no fear and they will not be उनमें हुज़न नहीं होगा, मतलब कोई तकलीफ नहीं होगी, sadness नहीं होगी. So what greater reward, right? और फिर दूसरी हदीस है, I guarantee a house in the outskirts of Jannah for the one who leaves argument even if he is right. So usually arguments happen when you feel you are right and the other is wrong. So you leave that argument, isar aap kare, and then this is the reward. Whoever humbles himself 1 degree for the sake of Allah, Allah will raise him in status 1 degree. Subhanallah. And the most hated person with Allah is a quarrelsome person. So इनमें से these are all motivating, and inshallah whoever is able to memorize any one of these, उसका भी बहुत ज़्यादा सवाब है. Now we're coming to the actual thing that everyone I know is looking forward to, is how to deal with this what we call a disease of irrational anger or outbursts, and how does one do it. The most one that I tried but did not work with me was look in the mirror, right? Because when you're angry, you have a very funny face and looking horrible, and you're just like, this. So if you have a mirror in front of you, just look at that mirror. So उसमें एकदम से you feel that आपका anger थोड़ा सा, you will see it, हंसी आ सकती है, but अगर बहुत ज़्यादा गुस्सा आ रहा हो तो शीशा पे भी गुस्सा आ रहा है. So it depends. So this is just one of the things. Change positions, यानी कि if you are sitting तो आप खड़े हो जाएं, अगर आप खड़े हुए हैं तो आप बैठ जाएं, अगर आप खड़े हुए हैं you can even start walking around the room, because you see it's that just that moment when you are just about to burst, but if you are able to distract yourself with changing your positions, then that will inshallah help you. Water therapy. Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu was a man who was known for his anger, and he used to get very angry at petty things before he accepted Islam. One day he heard that he wanted to just go and kill Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he was just going towards him, and a Sahaba said, "Your sister has accepted Islam." He was in a fit of rage, and he just moved to his sister's house, banged on the door, went in. I'm just going to cut it very short. And he hit his sister on the face to a point where she was bleeding, and he started quarreling with the brother-in-law. Obviously, Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu was a big man, he was very strong, he was a great warrior. He was able to overcome his brother-in-law, and he sat on him. And then he was about to strike him when the sister said that, I give the Shahada, and no matter what you do, we will not change in our minds. And there's something hit him. And he said, okay, show me what you have. So she said, no, you go and you do wudu, right? So in that fit of rage and whatever he was feeling, when you do wudu, it has एक तुम्हारा ritual है कि आप पाक हो जाते हैं, साफ हो जाते हैं. Plus, it also has a spiritual effect on you. It's like water therapy. You cool down whatever you're feeling. Because you can see the effects of anger on your face. Your face is flushed, your blood is boiling. But when you throw water on your face and you're able to do wudu, then it has a calming effect. So it has a spiritual effect, and it has we have this, it purifies you also. Plus, drinking water also helps. So अगर आपका कोई और भी है, उसको गुस्सा आ रहा है, you're the middle person and you're seeing 2 people, so it's just best to give both of them some water. उसके बाद ये आप कर सकते हैं कि breathe or isolate and do not speak. Breathe or isolate का ये है कि this is something that I've done many workshops, and before every workshop there is half an hour breathing exercises that they have for everyone, but they really are very, very beneficial. And I encourage everyone, when you come to class, take a deep breath from your mouth. Okay, let's do this right now. Take a deep breath, hold it in for 2 or 3 seconds, and then let it out. Okay, and then you just keep practicing this, or you take it from your nose and then take it out of your mouth, and then this releases a lot of stress. And they say, that trainers say, personal trainers or whatever trainers, that if you practice this many times during the day, it's also builds up your system and your lungs become stronger. because we breathe half of what we're supposed to breathe. So, जो हमारे lungs and they don't even reach half the air. So, before your review sheets, before you see any yourself going towards any stressful situation, breathe. Okay. And you can also do this during class also. Okay, isolate means that you keep yourself away from the object of anger. If it is whoever it is in front of you, if they are the source of anger, you move away from that source of anger at that time. Now, this will require some practice and presence of mind that you don't, like I will keep say this many times, do not react to the reaction. You move away from that side. You go to your room, you just stay there, you walk around, you go downstairs, you go upstairs, do something, but isolate yourself from that object. Or if it is the phone, you close the phone down. Okay, and then you do your breathing exercises. Because what is your objective? You don't want to lash out those 5 minutes. You need some time to think, right? Because that is when all hell breaks loose. Okay, do not speak का एक किस्सा है. Huzur sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he just was walking with Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu, and a man comes up to him and he says that you owe me money. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was not Muslim. And Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to do business with the Jews and everybody, Christians se bhi karte the, so that he could do, this is also a form of dawah, right? So he used to do business with them. And he started misbehaving with them. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not react to his reaction. He said, the date is not due yet. He said, but you still owe me money, and you Muslims are like that. And he kept on and on and on like that. Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu said that Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, just give me an order, I'll just finish him off. Just give me the hit. So Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, go to the treasury, give this man 20 dates of the money I owe him, and give him 20 more for the way you treated him. Now Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu was angry. He was holding it within him. He was walking ahead. This man was behind. And the man walking behind him said, do you know who I am? He said, who are you? He said, I'm Zayd ibn Sa'd. He said, aren't you the rabbi, the scholar, the Jewish scholar? Why could you behave like that with the Prophet? He said, well, the Torah kept everything about Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam except for one thing. I just had to see his forbearance and his help. And his forbearance is greater than his help. And I just had to see it for myself, and he gave the Shahla. So people around us observe us, and this happened with my teenager. I'll just quickly share this because I was just studying all this, and I was so fresh, studying ahadith, and all the breathing was going on. So my teenage and I had a little back and forth. There was only four first, and then there was a little raising of voice. And Allah ki taraf se, Allah ki madad aati hai. This is not something just happens because when you aapki niyat hoti hai, when you're trying, then Allah ki madad aati hai. And I just kept quiet. And there are times when you are empathetic, and there are times when you have to be firm. This required with my child to be empathetic. So I just held my cool and I said, you know what? This is what I feel, and this is what I feel. And there was a constant raise of voice from the other side, and I kept my cool. And Alhamdulillah, I saw that after some time the anger dissipated, and it just ended with a hug and a kiss. And this would have gone, usually it goes really bad because I'm also a bit, I just lose it sometimes. So the fruit was really beautiful. Just that moment of me just holding it. I mean, the key is not reacting to the reaction, not getting emotional about their emotions. Because what do we have to do? We have to focus on the issue. We don't focus on the pitch of our voice. We do not hurt. We do not abuse. We just focus on what we want done at that point, or what is the issue, what is the problem. Hota kya hai, when the person is angry, you become angry. You become angry to the reaction that they have. There is a reaction to the reaction. There is another reaction to your reaction. बात नहीं की वही रह जाती है. Right? So you're not able to focus on what the problem was. So you need to understand that, right? And when that happens, when you are able to do that, inshallah, you will see the benefits, right? So that is one of the key characteristics of a believer and a mu'min, that they get angry for the right reason, right? And they do not have ego issues. I won't talk about this now because there is a very thin line between ego, self-esteem. Ego and self-esteem. Usually we target a lot on our personal egos. That's not a good thing. We need to be humble, we need to know our egos, but self-esteem is one thing that we will do in the exceptions when anger is probably, I mean, it's okay if you get angry at that point. So, like I said, Umar radiallahu anhu ka jo tha, he was a caliph. Before Islam, he was known to have very bad temper, to a point where once a barber was cutting his beard and he cut his skin. And you know that he actually wet his pants with fear that hoga kya mere saath. But Umar radiallahu anhu, when he became Muslim, then he would get angry, but then he would control it and he would seek advice from Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That what should I do in this situation? So sometimes when you are able to control that anger and you don't know what to do about it later on, you need to, maybe you can go and seek advice with someone you trust. Right, and it's always good. The prophets would take advice from his wives, the Sahaba would take advice from the Sahabas. So it's a very healthy thing to take advice, but be sure to use your own wisdom who you're taking the advice from. Someone that you understand has shown wisdom in the past, right? Um, with power comes responsibility. Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu, when he became caliph, his temper cooled even further. We have a lot of responsibility as mothers, as daughters. We are the people who are generally, the husband is not around, so we are in control of whatever happens in the house, the children, the servants. So the greater responsibility we have, the greater example we need to set. And Bibi Aisha ka ek hadith hai that I want to share, that once, and this happens with the best of us, she narrated this hadith because she wanted us to learn that Huzur sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sitting with his Sahaba having food. Salama sent him some food, and Bibi Aisha was making a dish of herself. She got so angry and that she came in front of the Sahabas and she broke the plate. Now imagine the Sahabas looked at the Prophet ﷺ that what's going to be the next reaction. What do you think Huzur ﷺ would have done? He just smiled. He smiled and said, your mother got jealous. Eat. How beautiful. How beautifully he managed this situation. If it was one of us, the husband would go screaming at the wife, how dare you embarrass me in front of my friends, and what is this nonsense? What kind of tantrum is this? Anyone would have just, and he just dissipated all of that. He later went to Bibi Aisha and said, you know what, you need to send Umm Salma a new plate. This is an excellent example on how we need to deal with our children. When they become angry with us, we need to be the adult. We need to harness it and we need to not take it too seriously or personally. And we need to focus on the issue. And then we need to deal with it in a mature manner. For me, the easiest thing that I do is what would Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam do at this point? What would be his reaction? And then, you just want to imitate that. Okay? So disciplined children, my key to the line here that I want to emphasize is disciplined children and servants or whoever is under you with excellence, not frustration. So young mothers, even teenage monks with Zara, actually at any age, we are faced with there is always a head-on with our kids. So we need to deal with them with such excellence and not frustration. One other thing is count, but they can count 1, 2, 3. But for me, tasbih is a better option. You can seek refuge, which is a sunnah way. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, because we know that anger is from the shaitan. So you can read any kalma, you can read Durood se bhi hota hai, you can read Ayat Karima, whatever works you do tasbih. So this will take care of whatever the emotions that this burning sensation that you feel at that point. Divert your attention. This can work with people in different ways. You can have a beautiful hadith, save it in your phone. Every time you're angry, just look at that hadith. Maybe there is a YouTube video on anger, something that calms you down, koi ayat, koi Quran ki, something that you like, anything that you want to read, something that would take your divert attention, but move it in a positive way. Usually people when they are working, they want to divert attention, चीजें और तेज होती जाती है. Whatever you're doing, it just becomes faster and faster and faster. And you're just waiting for one more pinch and then you just blow up. So we don't want to do that because our goal here is not what others are doing, right? Our goal is, remember in the first class, I said, first we are going to do self-correction. First, we are just talking about ourselves. Once we feel that, okay, we understand ourselves, we are more mindful of ourselves, we have more control of our body, our mind, and our emotions, then inshallah we can go and help others around us. So we should not immediately point our fingers, okay, what if that they do, what if they do. First, the work that needs to be done is on ourselves. Okay? And obviously, from the जो मैंने कहा था, the word goes, the saying goes, practice makes perfect. So I just changed it to practice makes it easier, which is more practical, right? So the more practice, it's like the two wolves. You can imagine two wolves in you. One is a calmer one and one is an angry one. Whichever one you feed becomes stronger. Now you decide which one do you want to feed. Is it going to be the calm one or is the one going to be the angry one? Whichever one you feed becomes stronger. So you want to feed the one that is calmer, inshallah, the neurons that are built, they will wire in your brain, and then the stimulus that you get will be what you're used to, right? And then people also take you seriously. If you're someone who's always angry at the littlest things, people don't take you seriously. But when you usually never get angry, but then when you are angry, people take you seriously. So you need to choose your battles. Okay? I wanted to talk a little about, have we done all these points? Think of the reward. Yes. Wait and pause of what will follow. This is a more logical way of thinking when you're angry, that if you get angry at that point, think of what's going to follow. I had a call once, a very angry man on the phone is that your driver has bashed my car and this and that. And knowing myself, I was like, and I thought to myself, I have so many contacts. I can just, give him a piece of my mind, be like, do you know who you're talking to? But then suddenly I realized that, this back and forth is going to get me in a lot of police, hadda and mess and FIRs and everything. So initially I got a little angry, but then I realized of the consequences and all the stuff that I had to go through. So I said, okay, you think about it. I said, where did he hit the car? He said, from the back, whatever. Then I realized, I said, okay, jitna bhi nuksan hai, you can have him follow and I will give you the money. He said, actually, it was only 5,000. And since I will let it go because of the way you spoke to me. And this actually happened. I was like, wow. So this is the power of the tongue. If that point I had misbehaved even further, it would have cost me a lot more trouble and a lot more money. Just that thinking that if I talk to this like to my driver or my servant or my children, what's going to follow? They're gonna leave, and my children are gonna get angry. We're not gonna solve anything. Almost hogi. It's best to just be the smart person at that time and not get angry, right? So it depends on the situation that you are in. One needs to assess that. Secondly, don't, out of all these things, don't make any decisions when you are angry. Us waqt, if people are asking you, ab kya karna hai? Tell them I need time to think. Because you do not make rational decisions when you are angry, whether you are a judge, whether you are a mother, whether you are a ruler, whether whatever position, teacher, whatever position you are, you cannot make decisions when you're not very rational, you're not thinking logically. So don't make any decisions when you are angry. Make them when you have settled down. And wisdom is to put yourself in that position and then decide. This usually happens, like I told you, remember in the previous classes, I told you that teenagers or children, their mind is still developing, right? They're still learning. They are still in a nurturing environment. We have to lead by example. For servants, we spend our entire lives going to school. Our parents are constantly teaching us manners, social skills. We have perfected our social skills to a point where the general person, we don't even know who you are. But if you're expecting the same kind of manners from the people who have not had the same background like us, then that's not a very realistic expectation, is it? So when you get angry at people who जैसे एक बद्दू था हुजूर सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम, he came to him, he pulled on his gown and said, give me what you have, and he pulled it so hard that it put a scratch on his neck, but he just smiled and he said, give him what he wants in the treasury, and he gave him his garment also, because he was a Bedouin from the deserts of Makkah. They have not been bought. They have been brought up like people from a big noble family. They are just Bedouins from one tent to another. They have no education. They come from a very harsh environment. So you cannot expect them to have the same manners as a person from a good family, from a noble family. So I said the next is be humbled, lower your ego. Like the example when Huzur Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam lower your ego when such situations happen. Don't be hasty and be quick to apologize if you had an episode of anger, even if it is with your children. Why? Question. बताइए जल्दी से. Why would you want to apologize to your children? They younger. Yes. You have to teach them how they should be. Yes, excellent. Because you have to set an example. You have to inspire and motivate. You don't have to control. When they see, oh, my mother is apologizing, or your spouse sees, then they will also be motivated to apologize, even if it's your servant. I mean, if you had an episode, you can say, I just had a hard day, I'm sorry for what happened. Let's move on. People really, उनकी इज्जत जो होती है ना आपकी, it increases. When you lower your ego for someone, it only increases and shows that you are the bigger person. It's not the other way around. You are the bigger person. Then what we can do is dua for yourself and others. I will be posting 2 or 3 duas, inshallah, on the group where we share the slides. When you look at the mirror, ek dua hai, Allah hassan khalbi wa masin. Look at that, Allah beautify me as you have beautified my character, and you have like beautified me physically. Then Allah mani also become a munkarat and Allah, I seek refuge from bad manners. Plus, if you have offended anyone, there is a dua that whoever I have insulted, may Allah make it a source of khurb, or make it. There is another hadith that may Allah make it give them a sacrifice at the day of Qiyamah. So this is the way to give dua to someone you've insulted and you're no longer in touch with. How will you apologize? So you can do dua for them. Okay, so we need obviously lots of duas for ourselves and for those around us also, right? Jo Imam the, I think it was Imam Haider of Makkah, and he says he was very naughty. He used to really make his mother very angry, and every time he would make her very angry, she would give dua to him that may Allah make you the Imam of Makkah, may Allah make you the Imam of Haram, and he became the Imam of Haram. So we need to, in whatever, as mothers, as caregivers, even when we are angry or pleased, dua should be our weapon, right? So we need to keep that, because dua is a very, very positive thing. And we need to keep ourselves positive at every situation. So one other thing was that जिसमें लिखा हुआ था ना कि your ego, and you do not hurt people for your personal vendetta, for your personal reasons. Hazrat Ali radiallahu anh was once in a battle and he was about to kill someone, right? He was in battle, and imagine the rage. It's easy for me to sit in the AC class and say he was in a rage, but imagine actually in a war field, the adrenaline that you're about to put a sword through someone's chest and the person spits on your face. So the person spat on his face and he moved away. The man said, why didn't you kill me? He said, because I was going to kill you for Allah. But now that you spit on my face, this is personal. I'm angry. So he left me. This was their iman. This was their understanding. Can you imagine? He was the mental awareness, how they were there. And this is like a clash now of their logic and how they are fighting a battle. We are always in this situation and just minor irritations and we lose it. Imagine in a battlefield, he did not do it for personal reasons. So, inshallah, with all these things and all these tips, the thing is that there is Quran में inna salati wa nusuki wa mahyaya wa mamati lillahi rabbil alamin. That my namaz, my giving, my death, my life is everything is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And let me tell you one thing, every expression, every fancy word that I give you that is not for Allah is just words, it will have no depth and it will not have a lasting effect. The biggest motivator is when you want to do it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you want to do it for the right reason, and when you want to do it for the reward. That is when it becomes substantial, long lasting, and it has a purpose. Right? So keep these examples in mind, write them down, inshallah, practice them. We have a lot more coming in the upcoming classes. And I want everyone, it would be lovely if everyone can write down their experiences of, like, like I shared one with you. And if you are not able to do it, then at least you try, right? And Allah will reward us on our efforts. And if you are able to do it, then Alhamdulillah, once, twice, thrice, then you will become better at it, inshallah. So, and I would want in the next class that we share some of these experiences because I had someone share their mother's example, and I thought of that mother when I was able to get it's called a private victory by Stephen Covey. Usually, we are very concerned about public victories. Public victory means that publicly जो लोगों को पता होता है कि आपने wow इस स्कूल में किया ये graduate किया आपने इतने you make so much money and this and that, people know whatever is public, but what we are talking about right now is private victory. This is your own standards that you set for yourself and you're able to reach those goals. There's so much happiness in doing that. So inshallah, I want everyone to practice this, and I want to hear some real life stories, inshallah, because they are a real motivation for all the others. Okay. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك أستغفرك وأتوب إليك أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of the people who are able to uphold our balance and justice in good times and bad times, when we are angry, when we are happy, inshallah. And if there are any questions after this, let's have them. The online students, they can just send them here and we can address them if there's anyone. And the last question that you asked, we haven't come to the passive, inshallah, because it's just 30 minutes. So we'll do it in the next class. So does anyone want to share something? Well, then I can just give you some more examples and just keep talking. Yes.
Discipline children and surrounded with excellence and not frustration, right? That's
what I said. That's what I thought is that should work, right? Because usually that's how it works. Yes.
Something I want to share. What I experienced that I'm at
a little louder, so maybe the online students can also see.
What I experienced in my life, that I'm angry on someone else. Since I cannot take it out on them, so it comes out either on Sarats or Jay. Because they are under you, so you tend to take out किसी का गुस्सा किसी पे निकला. Our woman problem. I think
it's not a woman problem. It happens to men more than women who are more exposed to it. And then they come home, some are able to handle it and some are not. So yes, that comes under passive sort of aggressive, or looking at the situation when you're not able to get it out, but then it just stays with you. We'll do that in the next class, okay? Because that usually happens to most of us. Question. Nadia? There's a question from Hina Rehan. How does one apologize to their children after an outburst? It's very, very difficult for some of us. Now, in this situation, you see that if you are angry for the right reasons, for example, अगर आप बच्चे को कह रहे हैं कि the child is negligent about namaz, the child is negligent about respecting the elders, the child is negligent about their duties, right? And if you are angry about something like that, then this is your right as a mother that you need to. This is something positive that you're trying to train the child. Now that depends on how bad the anger was. Was it into a physical? Did you physically hit the child, or were you very loud in your voice, or was it just a screaming session? And how many times have you warned the child so that the mother would know that does this need an apology or does this not need an apology? So you yourself can decide that if your instinct tells you that you know what, this is to discipline the child, then you let it be, because this is for the good of the child. And you being the mother, क्योंकि आप राई है ना बच्चे के, like जैसे prophets होते थे, they were the shepherds of all the sheep and the lamb around them. So you have to guide them in a certain way. And for that, if you got angry with them, and if it was for reasonable cause, you don't have to apologize. But if you feel that this was something that maybe I crossed the boundaries, you can have a talk with them later on that, you know what, I feel that this is how you should do it. But maybe if you feel I got a little, more upset than I should have, then I'm sorry about that. I would really appreciate if you would do this next time. Do I have your approval? Can we do this? Can we work on this together? So get them on the same page, right? So this will depend on the situation, but it's always better if you have this feeling, then you have a talk with them once you have calmed down, right? Then we have a question. How should we maintain a line between isolating oneself and lack of communication? Isolating oneself will happen immediately before the outburst. This is just the 5 minutes. Once you're able to drink water, just get your senses together, understand that this is my smart strategy, this is what I will do leading with it, then you go back to communication, right? Even husband and wife which are fighting, okay, they give a break period. They have to break from each other, go in separate rooms, and then come back and start the fight. This is how counselors do it. So they do that so you can dissipate the anger. This is really a technique and this is the technique that we are talking about right now. Communication is a must. There is absolutely no way you don't communicate, but don't communicate when you are lashing out. Communicate later when you have cooled down. Okay. How should we maintain a line between isolating oneself and lack of communication? Like I move away when I get angry, but my friends think I don't want to talk anymore to them and have an ego issue. The best thing is that you tell your friends that right now I'm very upset and just I don't want to spoil things between us. I need some space. So you ask for that space and you take your space and you take your time. And if they're good friends, they will understand you and they will give you that time. Right? So you ask for that space. Nadia says, I also experience the same with my teenage daughter. I don't normally react when she is angry, and every time she comes back, say sorry and hug. That's very good. How can you help someone if they are angry at small things all the time and also deal with that person? Now, I said this before, right now we are not dealing with other people's issues and how they are dealing with their angers. We are now focusing on ourselves, mindfulness for ourselves. How are we going to deal with this when we are angry, right? And inshallah, we will touch upon it once we are able to fully understand how we are able to deal with ourselves. Then we will talk about how to deal with others, right? Shahla, you had a question?
Sure. And now she understands whether she do something big companies around there or anything. And so I'm just feeling I sort of, so I said up he answered it. Like I said, he just move out of the door right down. Apologize. What I think just
Good. That's the way to do it now. Okay, that's good. So we need to practice that. Inshallah, we will continue in the next session. Do write your questions down because I'm running short on time. And inshallah, we'll address them in the next class. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Just submit session.